dies.
Hello and welcome to the unofficial Maritime Wrestling Podcast interview series. And today we have a very special guest, the Maritime Luchador himself, Fantana.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is awesome.
It's a pleasure. All right, so we're going to get started here with a few questions. Pretty common knowledge that you started wrestling at a young age. Were you a wrestling fan before becoming a wrestler?
I was a diehard wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan since the age of 2 years old. To this day, I still am a wrestling fan. I watch every Monday Night Raw to, Friday Night SmackDowns to your Saturday Night main events, to all your pay-per-views.
Cool, right on. Who was your favorite wrestlers growing up?
Oh, definitely Goldust was my all-time favorite. Ric Flair. Those two specifically, I liked Ric Flair because of the glamorous style, the limousine ride and jet flying. He could cut a promo any day of the week. It didn't matter what time of day it was. And then you had Goldust, who'd put on the face paint, become somebody else bigger than life. But when that face paint was off, you knew Dustin was a family guy, and he was very dedicated to his family and still is. So
cool, right on. How old were you when you started wrestling, and what ultimately inspired you to step in the ring and start your journey in the maritime scene?
Well, I was 14 years old when I started lacing up the fair boots. I started training at 14. I got to travel a little bit at the age of 15 over to Atlantic Grand Prix, where I got to do a lot of cool stuff, meet some pretty cool people. Main reason why I got into it is because my entire life I was told I'm meant to be behind a desk. I'm meant to be in a suit. I'm meant to be, a hockey player. I'm meant to play baseball or basketball or be good as a mechanic or anything else. But what I actually really wanted to be was a professional wrestler. So I decided at the age of 14 years old, no matter what in life, no matter what it threw at me, I'm going to chase my dream. I'm going to chase my passion. And I'm going to chase the thing that I know that I can do and that I was put on this planet to do, which is be a sports entertainer.
Cool. So happy to hear that, to be honest. That's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
Who trained you?
I trained by Wayne Kreiderman, Crusher Klein.
Cool. So being so young when you first started, did you face any challenges early on the scene?
Oh, many. Started out as, especially, 15 years old trying to wrestle inside of a bar. How do you do that?
Yeah.
You're not 19. And not only that, at the time, my grade 9 math teacher is the bartender. That was his weekend gig. So how do I really get around that? Well, I got to enter the building with a mask, and I have to stay with a mask the entire night, and then leave with the mask on as well. So, yeah.
Very interesting.
That was cool. Definitely the biggest challenge there. I was young, and I wasn't very smart, and I didn't have the most finances coming into wrestling. So some promoters seen that, took advantage of it. Unfortunately, I got the small end of the stick while they got the big briefcase full of money. So
yeah. Early in your career, you went by Julius Fantana. Now simply just Fantana. What's the story behind your name, and how did your gimmick evolve over the years?
So Julius Fantana was honestly, I made name. I was like, how do I incorporate? I'm a big Fanta Pop fan, and I love bananas. So I was like, Fantana, banana, and Fanta, and Julius. Well, not supposed to talk about this at a young age, but I was drinking Orange Julius, and Julius was like the name that we got, and Julius Fantana was created.
Cool.
Go.
And then as I got older, I something inside of me was just like, Julius Fantana is a good name to have. Like, you were doing the Bronco Buster, you were doing the, the butt slap as, funny humor stuff. But like, how are you going to get people to take you more serious? So I was like, you know what? It's time for just a one-name man, and that's who I am. I am a one-name man.
Cool. When did you make the switch to just Fantana?
I think I was 16, 17. I was like really around the, I was getting ready to get out of high school, and a lot of people at school were, oh, Julius Fantana, you do the Bronco Buster, you do this, and it was always something comical. It was never, what did I actually do in the ring that you appreciated besides the comedy side of it?
Right.
So how do I get taken more serious? Well, maybe if I just change it up a little bit, maybe people will start taking me more serious. So that's when I started investing more into the gear, getting my name, getting my brand, turning Julius Fantana into Fantana the brand. Basically, the idea behind it.
Cool.
I had an awesome. I worked at Leon's, where I right in the area that I grew up in, and I had an awesome operations manager. To this day, he's still the best. He hates being called boss, but I'm going to call him boss because, at the end of the day, is the reason why he didn't like being called boss is because he wore the same outfit we did. He did the same jobs we did. The only difference was he had more keys and more responsibility. That was it. His name's Con Glode. He's the operations manager in St. John. Great human being. Super loving family man. Taught me a lot in life and really helped me become a man. And that was one of the things he told me was, how are you gonna take your brand and make it take your name and make it a brand. And that was one of the things that we had discussed. And it was shortly after that I decided, you know what, time to get rid of Julius, and it's just time to be the one-man band, Fantana.
Cool, right on. Do you remember the first time that you pulled off a moonsault in front of a crowd?
Yeah, I absolutely do.
How did that make you feel?
It was actually my first match.
Oh.
My very first match. I wrestled a guy named General Deuce at the time. It was in October of 2007. I did the moonsault from the top rope of a Foxy boxing ring, and the crowd went nuts. A lot of people knew, a lot of people that were in the crowd or that would have known that I was, part of the show, would have known about my athletic background through the cheerleading program, through the community center that I went to.
Okay, cool.
I did a lot of cheerleading. I did 8 years of that, and went to Olympic level, and it was really cool. I learned a lot about how to flip, how to body control, how to base. So yeah,
right on. So in Mexico, a luchador's mask is a powerful symbol of their identity. When you put the mask on, I know you outside of the mask. So when you put the mask on, you're definitely Fantana. You're not the same guy that I know outside the mask. Where did you come up with your design for the mask, and what does it represent to you?
So if you look to it closely, you see the wing. See the side wings there?
Yep.
What does that look like?
Looks like the Flash.
Like the Flash, right? So then he got the design with it. Up here. What do you think these look like? Horns. Horns, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we look to the colors. All to the color scheme. What do we notice?
Red, purple.
No purple. It's blue.
Oh, blue. Okay.
Red, white, and blue, right? A little bit of black. So I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. Start off with that.
You got him. Okay. You got him right there.
Okay. So you said the horns, but it was kind of close. But the actual design is actually Ultimo Dragons, somewhat in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you said lightning bolts for the Flash.
Looks like Rey Mysterio, huh?
It's a Rey Mysterio. So I got a little bit of everybody inside. And if you notice the hair, I always put a little bit of something. My goal is to keep a little bit of something for Tiger, for Eddie.
Yeah.
If he was one of my. So it's a lot of my inspirations all in one.
Cool.
And if you look at my purple one, it's the same design. It's just different colors.
That's right.
And the purple and teal is because of my wife. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In NWE, I remember, I might be misremembering this, but you had a great Sasuke-inspired mask, right?
Pardon?
A great Sasuke-inspired mask, right?
Yes, I did. Exactly.
I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that, and I revamped it. Actually, Joey Janela of all the guys in the world, Joey Janela is one of the reasons why I actually got away from that and got the Fantana design. He was the one that in 2019, when I was going away for the WWE tryout in Toronto, he was the one that reached out on one of the comments and was like, good work, but just need a different mask. So shout out to Joey Janela. Thanks for that. He really lit the fire that made me do it.
Cool. So one last question from me before I move on to let Corey take over. Who does your gear? Who creates your gear?
So my gear, lower half from neck down, is Hope Spot Apparel. Great guy named Casey Andrews. Great wrestler, great person, and does great quality. And my mask was done by Champion City Gear. They're based out of, I believe, New Jersey. I want to say New Jersey. I could be wrong, but last time I checked, they were in New Jersey. Great company. Very quick turnarounds. Everything you ask for, you get, and super easy to talk to.
Cool. All right, Corey, you're up, buddy.
Well, first off, I loved Fantana before. Now he's my best friend, knowing that he's a Montreal Canadiens fan. Jason's the only oddball here. He's a Leafs fan, so.
I used to like you guys, but anyway.
All right. Speaking of luchadors, you had an opportunity to face Fuego del Sol. What was it like facing another trained luchador in a match?
Well, I don't know if I can call him Fuego del Sol anymore. It's KJ Orsa.
No, we saw the match. No longer Lucha de Apuesta, I believe it's called in Mexico. He lost his mask.
Yeah, he decided to say goodbye to her, and I mean, what? Everybody is their own. Everybody's got their reasons, and I truthfully mean this. Fuego del Sol lit the fire inside of my rear end to get going. It proved to me that I can do this, that I will do this, that I must do this. I didn't think I had what it took to hang with somebody like Fuego del Sol. That night, I realized I have exactly what it takes to hang with somebody like Fuego del Sol.
Absolutely.
You can knock me down 1,000 times, but you can guarantee on the 1,001st, I'm getting right back up. And that's the truth. He really took me to the limit. He brought out the best in me. Meeting him was something I've always never thought I'd ever be able to do, let alone wrestle him, and let alone keep up with him. So to see that I, A, kept up with him, B, got to meet him, and C, we had a really banger of a match, and I really hope we get to run it back again someday. It was an honor. It was a privilege, and again, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Hopefully we'll see that in the Maritime soon.
That would be great.
Aside from Fuego del Sol, you faced a lot of opponents in your career. Is there any matches that stand out as your personal favorites that, really test your performer? Test you as a performer, I should say.
As a performer, eh? Well, there's different ones that stand out. Obviously, if I'm going to go with, I'll do top 3 that come to my mind right now,
Sure.
just because I don't want to waste everybody's time talking about every match that I had, because I enjoy them all, to be honest. But my top 3 that I would say come to mind right now would be the one where I wrestled Dick Durnan at IHW in a ladder match for the IHW TV title.
This was to crown the first ever TV champion, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
We did a tournament, and we were the last 2, and they decided a ladder match was the only way to determine a winner for that one. So we went out.
Classic. If anybody's never seen it, I've seen it a few times. An instant classic.
I to this day, I still watch it back, and I'll show people it and be like, you got to see this.
Yeah.
This was crazy, and a lot of people don't take in the toll. Yeah, it looks cool, but when you're in there, it doesn't feel so cool all the time.
No.
For instance, that running, I hit him with a running suicide dive, and he put the ladder up as a shield, and I hit that ladder it was like a wall. Oh. And I thought to myself, I was like, it won't hurt that. Yeah, it hurt. And it wasn't even so it was when I hit the ladder that hurt, but then it was like, oh no, I still got to drop. Bam, right to my back, and the slap of my hands hitting the floor and everything. I was like, man, why did I do this? and then we did the package pile driver, and I'll never forget through the table, and I'll never forget when he hooked me. He's like, "You ready?" And I'm like, "Got no choice." And he up we went, and the spring and the feel and the reaction, that was something that when I'm laying on a mat, I can look around and I can see every human being that's in that building literally standing on their feet, yelling, "Holy!" Yeah. That was a
You're allowed
moment.
to curse.
Yeah, it was a moment I'll never forget. Another moment actually would be just recently. I wrestled Chevron for IHW in Miramichi. That guy is underrated. He's underappreciated.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
And in my opinions, if you're looking at like the future guys that should be getting that call, Matt Chevron should definitely be one of them. 100%. That guy can go out there with anybody, and I mean anybody, and make them look like a star and feel like a star, and while also, being the star that he is. He's so professional. He's very easy to be around. Somebody, again, we're enemies when the bell rings, but when that bell doesn't ring, you know what? That's a guy I don't mind, sitting there picking his brain and just talking to him because he's got so much knowledge and he's just willing to give it away.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So that's definitely those two for sure. And this one to me was a little bit more personal. It was back in the Vision days. I wrestled a guy. He went by at the time. You guys know him now as Mark Thomas, but he went by James Steele at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a personal beef going on in like the back, and it was just over spilt milk pretty well. And we're still we're buddies now, and we talk about it. We let it go. You know what? It was our past. The windshield's bigger than the rear view mirror for a reason. Jelly Roll said it himself. So we let that stuff go. But that match stands out to me because that was a night that I thought it's going to go one of two ways. We're either going to go in there and we're going to be professional athletes and be professional wrestlers, or we're going to go in there and the beef's going to get the best of us, and we're going to have a slugfest. So, fortunately, both of us were both very professional. Shook hands before and after the show, and that's just the kind of guy he is too. He's he's somebody that was very underrated, underappreciated. That you give James Steele, Mark Thomas a microphone, and I guarantee he can tell you within a second of what he thinks of you as a base or a heel, and he's somebody, again, in-ring talent-wise, super safe, super easy to be in there with. Really somebody I really flew and connected with really well. And again, I look forward to doing that one down the road too as well.
Cool. Awesome. You mentioned Dick Durning. You two have a history going back to the XWA days.
Yes, we do.
How does it feel, basically, to be able to face him again 15 years later for Superstars of Wrestling?
So, truth. Okay, 100% truth. Wesley Pipes and I are circling up. It was at the last show. We're circling up, just getting ready to log up. And all of a sudden, his music hits. And like you said, we've spent a lot of time together. And, a lot of our time in and out of the ring together, helping each other to get to that next level. And, you talk about guys that held the pillar around here, and the guys that were the measuring sticks, and years and years. Dick Durnin was always here, and Fantana was always just almost there, but just not there yet. So, flash forward, here we are. Main event, Superstars of Wrestling, my hometown. I'm wrestling my best friend, my brother, Wesley Pipes. Him and I put a lot of kilometers on together. And, if it wasn't for Wesley Pipes, Fantana really would never exist, and that's the truth. He gave me a chance to help him set up his ring, and, I learned a little bit through him enough that he helped me get onto a show, and, yeah, the rest is history. I got trained by Wing shortly after. Yeah. So, flash forward to Dick Durnin for a minute. So his music hits at the Superstars of Wrestling show. And anybody who was around the ringside, even our photographers, our videographers, were all telling me, Fantana, did you know you had goosebumps? And that's the truth. His music hit and I got goosebumps. Because it's like, here we are, full circle. And now that I feel a little bit the time has changed because of his injury and his time away, I feel like I was finally the pillar. I was finally the top guy. And here he is, he's coming right back. And it's like, okay, I want to be the measuring stick. So that's exactly what I want to be. I want to be the measuring stick. So that's up the game, up the reps, up the gym work. Everything you see, you get. And that's the truth. Like, it's an honor. I love the guy to death. Put a lot of kilometers on with him, a lot of miles. He is one of the funniest human beings you'll ever meet on this planet. He can make you laugh on your worst days, and if he wanted to, he can make you cry on your best. And that's the truth. Dick Dernan, one of a kind. They don't make them like him, and they never will again.
100%.
And this is my opinion. This is not me being biased. This is just Fantana's opinion. Dick Dernan is the best wrestler in all of Canada.
It's high praise right there. We're going to do a little word association now. I'm going to name a company. Give us a memory from that company. A good memory, just matches or anything you want. So first is XWA.
There would be no me if XWA never gave me the opportunity for so many years. So a memory with them, they taught me what family was in a way. You know, I never had the closest family, I guess. In ways they showed me what a close family really is. So awesome. A memory, just a straight up memory. Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah.
Hanging out with Hacksaw, that was a memory I'll never forget. Wicked stories, but Hacksaw Jim Duggan, one of a kind. Getting to meet him was an honor and a privilege.
Awesome. Next promotion, NWE.
Oh, NWE. Great promotion. Again, had a lot of fun. Had a lot of cool people there. Tomahawk, Del Miexo, Harry Von Vicious. Just to say a few, you know, but most importantly, I'd say my favorite memory when they believed in me to be their first heavyweight champion.
That's what I thought you were going to mention because you are officially the first NWE heavyweight champion.
Yeah,
that's right.
Were you shocked when NWE closed its door during the pandemics?
Yes and no. And the no isn't because I didn't think they could do it. It was just because I couldn't believe that it actually happened. But truthfully, I didn't think that they would close because, you know, the promoter is such a diehard business guy in ways. Like, he, I don't know, has his name ever been announced on your show?
Sean Nelson, Precious Preston?
Yes. So Sean is such a dedicated person to the wrestling business, to the wrestling industry. And he was somebody that, you know, was never really given the chance. But once he was given the chance, man, that guy was willing to do whatever it took to keep that chance and to keep that opportunity. Sean was somebody I grew up with, grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. We spent a lot of time in high school together. And, you know, again, the day he showed up for a tryout, Dick Dernan was the one that gave him the tryout, and he was the one of the two that made the cut. So, you know, and to me, anybody that's willing to go through a pressure washer like he was, and, you know, do the crazy vignettes as the pledge, you've really earned your spot. And, you know, the amount of hours that the guy would show up for setup or teardown, even if he wasn't on the card. It just, that stuff to me that never goes unnoticed and nor unappreciated. You know what I mean? So to me, it was odd to see them close the doors because I know Sean is such a diehard, passionate person and promoter. That's what shocked me the most, I guess. Again, I have nothing but respect for the guy. So it was and the reason why I would have expected it to close well, obviously, because of COVID. COVID ruined a lot of things.
Yeah, did it ever?
It's unfortunate because I don't know if they're still up, but during the pandemic, I watched NWE from its start in 2014 all the way till the last show, Road to Gold 2019. And I felt 2019 was the best season NWE had. The storylines of El Fuego Dragon going for the title and then losing it to King Heath, and then him having to, go that extra mile to try and get the belt back. Then you're inserted with the briefcase, and just really enjoyed that season and was really disappointed that there wasn't a finale to that.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes though, like if things like that didn't happen, like the pandemic, then I look at it this way, then some of the opportunities that come in life right now wouldn't happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to just control your controllables. Yeah. The tough times don't last, but the tough people do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Memories on IHW.
IHW. 2 out of 3 falls for Julian Young. My first ever. I felt like it was like an Iron Man match. We really put a lot into that, which was cool because, a long match like that usually gets agent, pretty precisely. And that one, it was not. So it was pretty well call on the fly because of the timing of when I got there and things like that. So it was a really cool experience to be able to do that and that type of a big matchup and still not have anybody sitting there silently.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool test, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, Julian Young, I've been watching him since I started watching IHW, I think. One of the absolute best. I don't think he gets enough credit for what he's done in Maritime Wrestling.
Man, his psychology is just sometimes out of this world.
Yeah.
But like the guy, if you listen to him when he talks, he's very educated.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very educated. And what I mean out of this world by is like he can take something so big and just just change a few things up a little smaller and make it that much bigger. Mm-hmm. He's really keen on the micro over macro. Mm-hmm. And I'm keen on that too. So to have somebody like him who's so many more years experience than I am, and I can sit there still pick his brain and ask him questions and get cool answers, I think that's pretty fascinating. So that's to me somebody that's really passionate about the business and loves it.
Absolutely.
And he looks great too for his age. I mean, the guy looks like the same Julian Young he was like 15 years ago.
He does.
Little less hair, but
yeah, I think he still wears the same singlet.
I think so. Yeah, he had a couple ones. Thoughts on Twin City Wrestling?
That was fun, man. Oh man, those road trips. Oh my heavens, those are good times. Now, when they say the good times were rolling, those good times were rolling back then. Let me tell you. Favorite memory: we're on our way home. There's a carload of us. Matt Pettiford's the driver. Dick Sterning is in the car. Myself, Andy Piper's on my left, and I want to say Chip Chambers is on my right. I could be wrong, but we're on our way home. The entire car is falling asleep. It's like 3 a.m. The entire car is starting to fall asleep because you can tell like everybody's chit-chatty at first when we get in the car. And then we get to the little McDonald's or the Wendy's or the Tim Hortons or whatever. You know what it means open. We go in, we grab a quick bite to eat. We're back on the road. We're back on the road for maybe about an hour, and then everybody, the quiet, the chattiness kind of drops. Everybody's just kind of silent. Now, you got a good tune on the radio eventually, but most times you're not listening. You're just driving, and it's silent. and all I can hear on the radio is dum, 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 dum. And all of a sudden, the whole car, whoa, living on a prayer. The entire car is screaming at the top of our lungs, Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. And that literally woke us up with it. We're all just laughing our heads off after it's all said and done. But that is one of my all-time favorite memories of Twin City Wrestling.
That's
Living on a
awesome.
Prayer.
That's awesome.
Memories on UCW.
ECW, good times, good people. It was funny because I didn't really know JP Sims that well. I just knew of him, but I didn't really know him. So I'm like a people I'm not like a people person, like really that good. Like I can't read a person that well until I get to know them. So for some reason, I didn't want to get to know JP Sims because I thought he was an a-hole, like his character. So I was like, no. Then I get to meet him. And let me tell you, JP Sims is somebody so underrated and underappreciated as well. That guy is literally like, people don't know it, but he's like the butter in the frying pan. He's like one of the most important ingredients you need while cooking. And you don't even realize it until you have him. He's so special, and no matter where he goes, he can get a crowd to hate him, or he can get a crowd to love him.
100%.
JP's movement in the ring is very clean. Again, I have nothing but respect for him. So in UCW, my best memory is meeting JP Sims, to be honest, because it's how I was at first. I learned that you don't judge the book by its cover, and he was my prime example of that.
Cool.
Awesome.
So again, like you got to admit your flaws in life, right? Like I'm not perfect.
Of course.
I made mistakes, but at
We
the end
all
of the
have,
day, I'm human, and I'll admit them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Memories on Wrestle Center.
Oh, AJ Styles.
Yeah.
So I'm in the back of the locker room. I had just wrestled. Actually, just wrestled Mark Thomas, and I get to the back, and like standing behind me is like somebody like stockier, my height, maybe a little bit taller, just not much, just like, and I mean just a little bit taller, but jacked, and I mean jacked. So we're like, I didn't realize that back to back was like a person. I just thought, somebody like walked by, some kind of thing, right? So I bump back and I turn, and I'm like, oh sorry, and I turn, and he's like, oh sorry, man, like, and his accent, and I looked at him, I'm like, AJ Styles? He's like, hey man, nice to meet you. I'm like, what the heck are you doing here? Samoa Joe's there. Christopher Daniels is there. And Lance Storm. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? Why is AJ Styles here? So it turns out AJ was doing a run in that night. Well, I didn't know. No, none of the boys in the back knew. We're all just standing there. All of a sudden, AJ Styles is in our locker. No one knows how he got in there, where he came from, or nothing. All of a sudden, we're all watching the show, trying to like peek through the curtain to see what's going on. AJ Styles. So that's the moment I'll always remember.
I can imagine. What a surprise.
Anybody would have marked out right there, that's for sure.
Memories on mainstream wrestling.
Mainstream wrestling. Learning how to work in any condition.
Yeah.
So that means when you're doing the outside shows and it's pouring buckets, you still got to wrestle.
Yeah.
And it's harder. I don't know if people know this, but it's a lot harder to do with a mask on your face than it is without a mask on your face.
Yeah, I'm sure
So
there's less peripheral vision for sure.
that and like my mask back then, I used to have just the oval mouth. So it sucked in really much on me and it was heavy. So yeah, and then there was dogs running all through the field. On our entrances, we had to watch out for German Shepherds and Rottweilers.
Oh my
Um,
god.
yeah, it was like you learn to work in conditions, and a lot of people like you, like people, oh, wow, that's bizarre. But truth is, like, it makes you learn character.
Yeah.
Makes you learn and appreciate the good indoors when you do have a good locker room. It makes you, you know what I mean? You have a locker room with a shower in it. You appreciate that.
Yeah.
You have a locker room with somebody who's going above and beyond and making sure you have water and granola bars. You appreciate that because there's a lot of times in locker rooms where, I didn't have that. So that was the mainstream. You learned a lot. You learned how to work, I guess, in ways.
Awesome.
Cool.
Memories on CCW.
Memories on CCW. That was a tough one. I met at the time somebody that was my tag partner. We got to do the tag team championship. We were the first ever NBWA/CCW tag team champions. That was really cool.
Right on.
Winning the NBWA River Valley Championship there was really cool. Main eventing with Jason Boa. That was amazing. That guy is underrated, underappreciated.
I agree with you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
When guys want to look like professional wrestlers, I tell them, and I specifically tell them, go to Jason Boa. Go to a guy that looks like a professional wrestler, acts like a professional wrestler, and carries himself like a professional wrestler should. That guy has lit a fire inside of me, and he has coached me, and he's helped me, and he's mentored me in ways he'll never understand, or will I ever be able to say thank you for. So wrestling Jason Boa CCW was definitely a great memory. Becoming a tag team champions with Rugged Rick Owens was, a really great memory. And winning the River Valley championship from Jason Boa, of all people, and getting the honor and the privilege to carry that, and but my most honestly, and this has nothing to do with the wrestling side of it. This is a personal, and this is the truth. When I was in CCW, there was this fella named Lawrence. He's a little fella, and he's sunshine. He brightens up anybody's day when they see him, and that's the truth. And Lawrence, when Lawrence first started coming to CCW, his first show, he didn't talk to anybody. His mother told us, like, he would not go to anybody. He doesn't do people. It's just not his thing. When Lawrence first laid his eyes on Fantana, he came running with his arms wide open, and he held on and he clinched. And we hugged, and I held that little man in my arms for well over 3.5 minutes. And I thought to myself, I'm making this much of an impact in somebody's life, then I must be doing something right in life. So that right there is a memory I'll always remember, I'll always cherish, and I'll always love, because CCW got me my best buddy, Lawrence.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Just 2 more promotions here. First up, IPW. Thoughts on IPW?
Great place. Fun fact, if there was no IPW, I would never have met my wife.
That's awesome.
Cool.
I first laid my eyes on my wife in IPW, and the rest will be history, but that's the truth. I would never have had the opportunity or struck, any kind of love. So That's something I always hold cherishable and very honorable and important to me. And then I'll go into the new generation of, the revamp of IPW. They're doing something right.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
100% agree.
So, I'm a person that likes to tell stories like in the ring, right? Well, I kind of told a little bit of a story tonight about the pillar thing. Remember?
Yeah.
And I said always about being that pillar, the top pillar. And this is not because I'm their champion. This isn't because, I had anything to do with any of the training or anything like on that side of things. This is the truth. If every single promotion in the Maritime wants to be the it factor, go watch IPW Wrestling.
Yeah.
Go watch the minute from the start of their intro to the last bell that gets rung at the end of the night. You watch from our pyro entrances to how well organized, to our time management, to our referee organization, to our backstage. Everybody knows their cues, their spots, where to be, when to be, and how to be there. There's 0 questions ever asked. We run the show well in advance so everybody knows exactly where to be. You couldn't ask for a better production team. You couldn't ask for a better ring crew. You couldn't ask for a better group of human beings that are willing to go above and beyond for a group of individuals to go out and perform art. And that is the truth. You want to be the top pillar around here? Go watch IPW because they're doing it right. There's a reason why they're getting Twitch streams. There's a reason why they're getting so many viewership online. They're not just sitting there wishing they were getting this, that, or telling you have to do this, that, or another thing. They lay it out on the line, and they're very honest. Their promoters are very easy to get along with. They're very open. They developed a really great friendship with the promoters. Again, the sky's the limit for them, and they don't plan on stopping anytime soon. So, great memories, great place, and highly, highly recommend anybody internationally, worldwide. You want to wrestle in the top of the game. You want to look like a superstar. You want to feel like a superstar and be treated like a superstar. Go to IPW Wrestling over at Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island.
Absolutely.
I agree, 100%.
Final promotion on the list is the newest one, I should say, Superstars of Wrestling.
Great place, great people, positive atmosphere. I was in a locker room and not one person said a negative thing, to be honest. A lot of people were saying they would be praising you on littlest things, from whether it be just even, oh, excuse me or pardon me, to, oh, thank you. That goes a long way with me. I'm a big please and thank you person. Manners, it's just something that got away. And like, even to this day, I hold the door open for my wife in the car, like to get in the car. It's just, a lot of people are shocked that I do that. Well, no, it got away. You're supposed to, have respect, have class, and have manners. So to be in a locker room and everybody have that class, respect, and manners, couldn't have asked for a better atmosphere. That's the truth. And everybody there wants to elevate themselves. So everybody there wants to get better. And everybody realizes by being there, they have opportunities. They have opportunities to wrestle international human beings. So Franco Varga, fun fact, well known throughout the United States. Been over to China, has been in Japan, has been all around the world. He has connections worldwide. So there's one guy right there that can help you. Wesley Pipes, an international, has been to Mexico, has been down to all through the United States, down through all through Canada. He is another guy who can get you bookings anywhere throughout the world. They plan on, and they're always bringing in different talent. Like I don't want to say it. Channing Thomas,
yeah.
Yeah, they brought Channing Thomas. There's different names, Perry Von Vicious. There's different names they've been bringing in. You know what I mean? You always have somebody else different who can help you get somewhere else network-wise. But Big Bad Bobby Ocean, use him as well. Another name, great great physique. Somebody that Maritime should be definitely looking into. Jake Hollister, definitely another name. Great. Somebody else should be looking at. They should be bringing into the Maritimes more often. These are guys that are networking worldwide. So I know right now offhand, Bobby Ocean is friends with Devon Dudley. Know that. I tell you that personally. So if he's friends with Devon has all the connections for the world because he's Devon Dudley.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Like, how do you get better? Well, you can't just go there and say, well, I know Bobby Ocean. You need to wrestle these guys. And you need to prove that you can keep up with them. And you're willing to go out there and do the work just like they are. Because they just traveled. They didn't want to come here and do a 5-minute squash match. They just traveled from the United States of America. 9 times out of 10, they drove. You think they drove all this way just to come out to perform for 5 minutes and get paid and leave? That's not what they do. That's not what they're about.
Yeah.
They're here to perform, to show what professional wrestling is. So that's why, in my opinion, you only get better when you're with superstars of wrestling right now. They have so much to offer you, and if you learn to think outside the box. And that's the best way to put it is think outside the box. Don't always follow the same pattern. Make your own path, create your own journey, do it your own way.
Absolutely. Next question. In March, you attended a 2-day WWE ID masterclass in New Hampshire with Ethan Knight, Jason Boa, Hollywood Cole. What was it like learning from guys like Gabe Sapolsky, Mike Hollow, and what were your biggest takeaways from that weekend?
Well, first off, those 3 guys that you just named, Ethan Knight, Hollywood Cole, Jason Boa, ask me any day of the week, and I'll get in the car gladly, and I'll drive with them anywhere in the world. 3 super classy, easy to be around guys. Super fun, super positive, uplifting. Not one time did any of us drop our head, and if we did, just for that slight second, because we were putting ourselves down, one of us around us was around each other, putting each other back up, picking that head up. So you want somebody around you that's always uplifting, that'll always keep you on your toes, that'll keep you safe, that will help you, and wants to actually, doesn't say they want to see you succeed, actually wants to see you succeed.
Yeah.
I highly recommend jumping in a car with those 3 guys. Secondly, going down to New Hampshire for me, my first time ever out of Canada. So it was a big experience for myself. I was taking a big gamble on, what if I get at what? It was like days before I was saying to myself, what if I get down there and they don't like me? What if I get down there and I'm too small? Because that's the stuff that I've been told. What if I get down there and I have a hard time at the border? And then, it's like, really, what am I doing wrong? I'm going down there, I'm paying them the money, and I'm learning some knowledge. So I'm not doing anything wrong. So realistically, if I go to the border and I show them proof that I'm going to New Hampshire to the Elite Pro Wrestling Training Seminar School, and I'm going to WWID, it's like a WWEID school, and that there's Gabe Sapolsky, Mike Hollows, and Scott Reed, and a gym, I'm trying to better myself. I'm sure I'm not going to get in trouble. So it was a lot of, I had to put my self-doubt away and get comfortable being uncomfortable. Not his famous words of Jason Boa. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I did. I jumped in that car. I took that risk. I wrestled that night of at IHW. I geared down, ran home, jumped a 5-minute shower, jumped in the car. We drove to Fredericton. They jumped a quick 5-minute shower each. We jumped back in the car. We took off. That was literally, we drove that all night to the next day. We literally went to right to the gym. We were at the gym 9:00 that morning. Like that's what it's all. You want to talk about grind. You want to talk about learning. Do you really love it? Is this really for you? That was the weekend I learned Fantana is meant to do this.
Cool.
And so to go down there to challenge myself. And then not only that, I'm challenging myself in a way, in several ways of, personal doubt, things like that. But I'm also down there with 3 of the biggest guys in the industry right now. Dave Cebulski's name being one of them. So I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do? And I said, you know what, Fantana, you're going to go down there and you're going to be the best Fantana you can be. Why? Because you can, because you will, and because you must. You've wanted this your entire life. You're going to go get it now. So I went down there and I did it. I gave them everything I had inside the tank. I felt like $1 million when I walked away. But the biggest thing I got out of it all, and this is the truth, I just want to word it right. If you go into a situation thinking you can't do something, you better not even think of that situation. You better not even attempt it. You better not even try. You push it off to another date until you're ready to do it, because the minute you don't question it is the minute you're ready. So literally, and I'm truthfully when I'm telling you this, I was in my shower getting ready to go back to get in the car to go to New Hampshire. And I started telling myself, what if I'm just sick? Maybe I just feel a little under the weather. What if I'm just, I'm like talking myself out of this. This is the truth. That I said to myself, when I get there, I'm just going to tell them I'm not going to go. The minute I seen them outside the car, I was going. Because it was like that self-doubt went away. I was only doubting myself because there was nobody around to tell me you can do this. I need to believe it in myself that I could do this. So I'm really going to push myself. I'm going to do something that I can't control, that I'm not going to be comfortable with. I'm going to put myself in a situation where I know there's no turning back. Once we're on that road, there's no turning back. And that's exactly what I did. And let me tell you, it was the best decision I ever made my entire life, besides taking that IPW booking to meet my wife. And that is 100% my honest truth. So it's okay to question it to the point of, but if you're still questioning at the point of, don't go. But if you know in your mind you can do this, go do it. There's nobody stopping you but you.
100%.
That is very true, and I think it's also, like you mentioned, seeing them too there. Like it's important to surround yourself with also like-minded people, and I imagine that they also did go through those thoughts. I mean, there's no doubt, right?
Yeah.
But having you guys around just takes that away,
And
because they want to be there with you, right? So that's awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool, uplifting moment in life, and I learned a lot about myself that weekend too. So
yeah, good to hear. But look, like even since then, so this is kind of related to the next question. So we've seen you firsthand. We were there when you won the IPW's PEI championship on June 7th against Zane Valentine. So now that you've been the PEI champion for a few weeks, has it sunk in? Like how does it feel up to now?
It's funny because I get questioned from the promoter of every so often of, how do you feel, champ? How do you feel today, champ? And my answer is pretty well the same every time. Is I feel on top of the world.
Good.
It feels great to know inside that for 18 years of my life that self-doubt, that question of, am I good enough? Am I big enough? Am I fast enough? Do I have enough? Am I going to make it enough? To have somebody believe in me and, enough that they put their championship on me, and not only put it on me, but they do it and they're so professional and they're always checking in on me, and they make me feel like a champion, and that's the truth. And so how do I feel? I feel like a champion. I feel honorable. I feel on top of the world. And that is the truth. I feel happy. I'm excited. I pity Nate. I do. I pity many of the mates ahead of me. Any mate that wants to get in front of me, I'm willing to fight with them. So again, it's just, I don't know. I guess my answer would be on top of the world.
Cool.
Good for you.
Again, like, there's so many people that like hate on this. And it's true. Is, well, you're so small. How come you're a champion, but you're so small? It's like, you know what? I'm 5'4" on the outside, okay? But I'm 10'5" on the in. I have, and I guarantee it, the biggest heart in any room I walk in. So you, again, can knock me down 1,000 times, but you better bank that I'm getting up 1,000 first.
Yeah.
They always say great things come in small packages. So
exactly.
So it feels great to have a company believe in me.
Yeah.
100%.
Hey, and look, like now, at the end of that match, we did see that there was a video from Caden that was watching the match on Twitch, I believe.
Crybaby.
And now wants to challenge you to a title match. Do you think he has the, enough bark in the dog, I guess, to kind of take you on? Like, what do you think about that up to now?
Caden. See, Caden. Crybaby Caden. Got lots to say about him. He's a rapper. I will truthfully say he's a good rapper. Outside the wrestling world, he actually is a really good rapper. Outside the wrestling world, he's a really good father. He's a great person. But come inside the wrestling world, Caden, when that bell rings, you're going to wish it didn't. And this is the truth. I have so much fire inside of me right now. And I have so many points to prove in this world. And unfortunately for you, you just drew the small end of the straw that night. So you're going to find out that Dynamite comes in small packages. And you're going to find out that I hit hard. You're going to find out that I'm quick. And you're going to find out exactly what everybody else knows. I can, I will, and I must. I will be still your IPW champion. And there's not a thing you can do about it. Caden, I know you're listening. And I know you're going to listen in. So hear me and hear the words that come out of my mouth. Get yourself a doctor's note. Call in sick. Say the dog ate your homework. I don't care what you got to do. But, dude, don't show up that night. Because if you do, you might as well just go and check into the PEI hospital a little early. And just tell them to reserve you a bed. I'll see you then.
There you go, buddy.
Oh, there's nobody. There's nobody. When that bell rings, it's on, like Donkey Kong.
You've been warned, Caden.
Oh, yeah. That's the warning shot. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you interrupted my celebration.
Yeah, you did.
I literally just had an instant classic with Zane Valentine. And you know what? I give kudos to Zane. Not a lot of people will, but I will. He showed up without a manager. He still defended his title. And he didn't even cheat that much. He actually tried to beat me legit. So,
first time for everything.
Well, you know what? I'll give the kudos where the kudos are due. Zane Valentine, another underrated, underappreciated talent. Charismatic, his manager in his corner as well, another underrated person. But again, when the bell rings, he can go toe to toe. And I told you guys I wanted to be the top pillar. Well, he can hang with the top pillars. He hits just as hard. And so, I mean, I just had an instant classic. We literally, I thought and felt we tore the house down. I got the better of him just by that inch of the hair because, he turned his back, and that's the biggest wrestling no-no in the world, is never turn your back on your opponent. So he learned that night that I not only knew, you don't turn your back, but I also know the ring pretty well, and I'm very comfortable in it. So when it comes to positioning, I know where I need to be. So if I had to do a European jackknife flip over bridge, I'll hook it and flip it, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. So to go through that battle, and I finally did it. I finally won the big one, and then it gets interrupted. It's like, come on, man! At least have the audacity to show up. It's not like a super far away or anything. Come on, man! You got all this money in the world. I see you're out on vacation now. Got all this money in the world. You should be able to book yourself private jets now, shouldn't you?
You would think, right?
Right. But here we are.
September 6th.
That's right. Show up, Caden. Or actually, no, don't show up. Don't say I never warned you.
Oh, man. And so now, actually, speaking of title matches, so you have a couple of shots at titles coming up. First off, on June 28th at Superstars of Wrestling for the first ever Superstars of Wrestling Championship title, as well as the AIWF Canadian Championship in a fatal 4-way ladder match against, first off, Wesley Pipes, second off, Franco Varga, and third, Dick Durning. So 3 huge names right there. So aside from Varga, so you've shared the ring multiple times. We did touch on that a couple of times with Durning and Pipes. So how do you prepare for such a match?
Well, I debated on going outside and seeing if I could stand in front of transport trucks. But I didn't think that would be a really logical answer. So
I suppose not.
I went to option number 2, which is go into the gym, hit the iron harder than I would, stronger, heavier, and more reps. So I'm going that route. Hopefully it'll pay off. Again, Dick Durning's got a lot to prove. He's, not only, like I said, the pillar of Canada, but, there's 2 big titles on the line this time. So, I mean, if we were willing to go through that for 1 title at the IHW before, I imagine what he's willing to do and sacrifice for 2. Wesley Pipes, same thing. He wants to be a champion everywhere as he goes. He's been a champion everywhere as he goes. And all around the world. And, has done it all. Again, huge mentor, a coach in life. And but when that bell rings, I know he's going to have a point to prove too. So Franco Varga, there's not much you have to say. He's the biggest wrestler ever, and his name says it. He hits hard. He's super strong, like crazy strong. There's strong, and then there's like super strong, and then there's like crazy strong. That's Franco. He's like super crazy strong. And so I imagine even if I try to like climb a ladder, he'll find a way to grab the ladder with me on it and move, So I got to really try to play cat and mouse with him a lot. Try to really avoid him. I think the 3 of us, the 3 of us were smart as Pipes, Dick, and myself, kind of like, band together and kind of beat up on Franco for a minute, and then get rid of Franco out of the picture, and then that leaves more of a clear vision for one of us 3, I guess. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, again, when the bell rings, I've learned that you can't turn your back on either Pipes or Dick. They will take their opportunity when given. So again, it's easier to say I'd like to do all of this, but to be prepared, to be answered. There's no preparing for these kind of monsters. You just got to go to the gym. You got to train hard. Yeah, you got to try to get your reps in at the ring as fast as much as you can. And, that's the best I can give you for advice there. I guess I'd say eat your vitamins and eat your shreddies and say your prayers, because...
There you go. Hey, and look, like we're going to wind down a little bit. I'm going to ask you some more fun questions here.
All right.
And the first one here. So you've shared the locker room with a lot of different talent, performers from all over, I imagine all over the world at this point, right? And there must be a lot of stories that you would have heard or even spoken to talent directly, and they would have told you. Do you have any funny ones that stand out to you?
Funny ones. You know, there was a few actually. I had a thought of this earlier, and I kind of lost the train of thought. So it will come back to me. But probably Axe and Smash Demolition. And a funny story is, so there was a guy named JC Rebel. I don't know if you guys remember that from XWA. And he was he wore like a leather mask face.
Yeah.
And anyways, he was in the locker room with us. And Axe and Smash are like really two down to earth dudes. They're like two of your dads kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like they're just super down. They're just, they're answering all the questions for the boys. They're not being overbearing with questions, but they're not, they're just one of the boys. Everything's going good.
Yeah.
And JC's standing there and he's got his mask on, and Smash just finally, I think he just got annoyed. And he looked over at him, he goes, "You wear a mask?" He's like, "Yeah." "You wear that mask all the time?" Only on the shows. Like, at shows, he goes, "We've seen your face back here, right? You can take your mask off until you go out there." Well, like, you could just see JC like the walk of shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. It was like he was leaving the locker room, taking the mask off, like the walk of shame. Like he just did something wrong. And all of us are just like, at first we're like, what do we do? And he goes, "Well, boys." He looks over at me and he's like, "He wears a mask, and he's wearing it right now, and he's one of the boys." It's like that lesson of, don't when you're backstage with the boys, you're one of the boys or you're one of the girls. You know what I mean? Like, you don't try to be the character in front of your coworkers. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So don't try that stuff, I guess. Is that at a young age? I mean, at first I was like, whoa, like taken back by it, but then you gotta understand it now. As somebody that's been around the business a little bit of time now, like I spent over half my life in this business, so it's it was a really cool eye opener, but it was, again, a really funny story. If you were JC Rebel, you wouldn't have thought it was funny, but everybody else in the room thought it was hilarious.
Exactly.
Including Axe and Smash. So if they're laughing, I'm laughing.
Oh man, that's hilarious. And look, like sometimes we hear these types of stories from, talent that have been on the professional circuit for years and years, how they show up for a show and, you're like, "Oh, well, where's the dressing room? Like, where do we get ready?"
Oh,
like, what's the most awkward place that you've ever had to get changed for a show?
All right. So I'm going to go with top two. And I'm going to go with like an old one, and I'm going to go with like a newer one, okay?
Cool.
Sure.
So let's make this fun. You said it was a fun question, so I'll make it funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the first one was back in the XWA days. We did a movie theater SummerSlam event for WWE. WWE was being broadcasted at the Cineplex in St. John. And they told us we could use inside the movie theater to set our ring up in and our entrance stuff and do a show. Okay. So we set up our ring, we set up our entrance, and then we all kind of clued in. Where's the locker room? Because the outside door is the blacked off curtain. So once you go out that door, you're outside. You're in an open parking lot at that, which is connected to like a bulk barn It has a Wendy's. It has, so, there's carloads of people. And you think I'm going to change in this parking lot with other, like, no. We got to figure this out. We have an idea. Let's back the U-Haul up. So we used the back of a U-Haul. Be fine and dandy if 3 of the guys on the show didn't have the craps. So that was a pretty rough go. And then not only that, so, like you're in the back of like a U-Haul and you know how like they're metal ground?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're so fun once you get butter on them because you have to go down. So this is the entrance. You had to go down the ramp, in through the door, in through the curtain. So you're into the crowd. And then you go to the ring. On your way to the ring, it was pure butter. Pure butter on the floors. So your bottom of your boots were it was like watching Mario. It was like a game of Mario Kart and somebody throwing bananas behind you. And I'm telling you, this is exactly what we're slipping and sliding the whole way to the ring. Mind you, I love XWA. Hated their canvas because it was tarp. So you get in a tarpy canvas, and guess what? It's skating again. Here we go. Watch me do the Santino as I hit the ropes. So, yeah, it was a slippery time. You get done your match, you go to the outside, you go try to wipe your boots the best you could till you get to the outside. You go to the outside. You go up the ramp, you go to step in the U-Haul, whee! You slip and slide again. So, yeah, it was.
Oh, my God.
It was a locker room I'll always remember. And to the newest one. Are you ready for this?
Absolutely.
Superstars of Wrestling. We were doing a whole, we had this like, when the first show we had this downstairs area, and it was like really nice. It was big, but it turned in now because we had so many people that we had to move the merchandise out of the room with like the people in it because we had to put it in its own private room because it was like, honestly, and this is no word of a lie, when people say they're sold out, like sometimes they're standing rooms, there was no standing room. There was no seats. This place was jam-packed to the point where, like, we were telling people we can't even let you in. We're sorry, kind of deal. You know what I mean? So we decided next show, maybe we'll switch it up. We'll go upstairs, and then we'll leave the merchandise in one room, and then we can do the show in the next room. We go upstairs, and I go down the hallway, and it's racks of coats, of T-shirts, of winter coats, of winter hats. It's a room full of stuff. So we're changing in between racks. What a fun. It sounds crazy, but at the time, like we're all like, I was wrestling Rudy Lockhart that night, and Rudy and I were both like, this is awesome. These are the kind of locker rooms we like. I like weird locker rooms, and that's what I'm into. Like that to me, that was it was unique. It was super jam packed and tight, but it was so fun because you could just like, I don't know, you had room to like do stuff, but you weren't gathered by people. It was just coats. So you didn't like you could go down and do your push-ups, and then like there was coats around you and stuff, but it wasn't on top of you. It wasn't like picking your bag. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It was tight, but it wasn't bad. It was a different, unique locker room. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Again, not talking bad, talking good.
It's funny. And look, like, as we know, like up to now, we've seen you so many times, wrestling the circuit in Miramichi and Moncton and Riverview, wherever. And, once your music hits, for one, I know, like, you got the kids jamming. That's for sure. But apart from yourself, who would you say has the best entrance music in the Maritimes?
Bobby Boyette.
There you go.
I can still picture him coming to the ring. I love Bobby Boyette. To me, Bobby Boyette, again, I know I said it about a few people, but Bobby Boyette, underrated, underappreciated, underloved. So talented for a big man, can move just like a small man.
100%.
Powerful as can be, and has a heart of gold. and that's the truth.
Mhm.
Big shout out to Bobby Boyette. I love you, brother. I hope you're listening.
Absolutely, yeah. That's good to hear because I agree. Like he's definitely an underused or underappreciated. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's right. We do see him quite a bit though. I'm glad that he's making the rounds, like around different promotions, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, he's definitely inspiring for sure.
yeah. Hopefully his chance comes up. Absolutely. And yeah, maybe just as a last question for the guys and girls, both, because absolutely we do need a women's division everywhere.
I definitely
please.
bigger women's division.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. But that if they're rookies and they're still fairly new to the business, what's your best piece of advice for getting better and growing in the business?
First off, you touched on the women's division, so I'm going to touch on that first.
Sure.
It took many, 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 many trial and errors to get to where we're at now.
Yep,
100%.
And right now, in my opinion, we have the strongest women division you can have. I mean, you have everything from your Karma Reigns to your Ronnie Paynes, to your Chantels, to your Maddie Miles, to your Salems, to your Stormy Hales, all the way to Sierra Stone.
Yeah.
You have several women right now, and those are just to name a few, that are so passionate, so loving, such great human beings. But when that bell rings, you can bank on them giving you a show. You can
100%.
bank on them giving you everything they got, and they're tearing down the house. In my opinion, women's wrestling right now is as hot as it's ever been, and it's hot. It's getting hotter as time goes on, and it is because of the women that we have, and the story and the dream and the drive and passion that they're showing and presenting. I mean, outside of that ring, again, these women are human beings.
Yep.
They still have to get up every day. They still have to either, because I don't know about, I think Maddie is the only one that was making, wrestling as their full-time job. Other than her, everybody else still has to get up every day, and including Maddie as well, still has to get up every day and do that grind at that Monday to Friday work job. And then to go to the gym and to see the effort and the time, again, just it's inspiring, and that's the truth. As somebody that's been a part of it, and I got the privilege and the honor to agent a lot of the women matches around here, or had my little bit of say involved somehow, some way. They're very coachable. They're willing to learn. They're very passionate, and again, they're our generation. They're the next generation for sure, and they're the future. So,
100%.
the women's division. If you're a woman right now and you wanted to get involved with wrestling, now would be the time. You want to learn. You want to be around good, positive people. This is the time to do it. But to anybody who's a greenhorn in this, and or a rookie coming up in the world of wrestling, don't let somebody dictate what you can and can't do. Don't hold yourself back. Remember that, not everybody's your friend. A lot of people tell you they love you and that they want to see you succeed. But then when it comes time for you to succeed, they're not really, wanting that, because they're not ready to accept that yet. So you have to learn to adapt or learn to adapt on the fly. Learn what you learn the most about yourself, and just really believe in everything you have and what you're going to bring to the table. You're out there for a reason, and there's something inside of you that makes you want to do this. So don't let anybody tell you can't do it. Don't let anybody tell you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. Do it your way. Make your own story. Make your own path. Create your own tunnel, and don't let anybody stop you. You can, you will, and you must. And I said that. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Nobody should tell you what you can and can't do. And believe in yourself. That's the truth. Just believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. If you want anybody to believe in you, you need to believe in yourself. So
That's true.
not all times are going to be sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. But at the end of the day, you're still human beings. And at the end of the day, everybody still wipes their rear end the same way with toilet paper. So.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
Before we end the interview, where can people see Fantana wrestle in the coming months?
Sorry?
Where can people see Fantana wrestle in the coming months?
Well, let's start off with June 27th. I'm at the IHW Riverview Rec Center. And then June 28th, I'm at Superstars of Wrestling. And then July 5th, I'm with IHW, I believe. I have to double check my calendar, but yes, I'll start off with my June dates, and I'll start with there. June 27th, Riverview, June 28th, St. John.
And also in Bucktouche on July 14th. I've been trying to plug everybody that one. I want to see a huge crowd there.
Bucktouche, July 14th as well, yes.
So
September 6th, IPW.
September 6th, IPW. But these are like shows that I will be plugging like all throughout my social media, like as months come through. It's just like, it's hard for me to, because I don't have I have a calendar in front of me, like, and it's not in front of me right now. And that's my problem. If I don't know my dates off by heart.
It's all right.
Yeah.
We'll figure out when it is, and we'll definitely post them. That's for sure.
Yes.
But the September 6th, it wasn't for you though. That was for Caden to book his hospital bed.
That's right. You knew that. You guys, if you know any reservations, you can make them in advance for him.
Yeah, we'll discuss it with him. We're gonna interview him in the next couple of weeks, so
good luck with that.
We'll prep him for you.
You sure you can get him to talk without a soother in his mouth?
He might rap the entire thing. We don't know yet.
Gosh.
We'll see.
So, speaking of social media, where can people find you on social media?
Find me on Instagram, Wrestler Fantana. I'm the one and only Wrestler Fantana. And I'm the same way on Instagram, Wrestler Fantana. Or I just said that, sorry, Twitter. X, I guess. And I was just telling this today to Jason. I am not tech savvy, okay? I have my wonderful wife. She's my agent. She takes care of all of my social media side of things. She'll be like, hey, Fantana, there's a message for you. You need to check it. So I will go on and I'll take care of my personal messages and things like that. But when it comes to social media side of things, my spelling is not great, like at all. I won't lie to you. I'm a terrible speller, and punctuation's not great, and or is basically my vocabulary either. So again, not the greatest when it comes to that kind of handling the technology side of things. So I got a wonderful agent. She takes really good care of me and takes good care of that side of things. I wouldn't be nearly as successful as I am today without her. So again, shout out to my wife.
Awesome stuff. Well, it's been all our pleasure to have one of the most popular wrestlers in the history of Maritime Wrestling, the Maritime Luchador, Fantana. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you. Before I go, I do want to say a couple shout outs to a few of my sponsors, if that's cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I got a couple personal sponsors. So first off, I want to say shout out to Jamie Flowers at Fate of Views Barbershop. Sorry. Jamie is A1, great guy. It's simple, funny to be around. And again, you go in there, he will make you laugh the entire time you're in his chair. And you get to see a wonderful picture of me every time you're in there. He changes his pictures up every so often. So there's always different pictures of me on the wall. It's kind of cool. He was a really big part of the Fantana brand when, I really decided to take it on as a brand. So it's, he was a really big part of it. And so shout out to Jamie for sure. Over to my boy, G Willie, 24/7 Fitness. That guy he's hilarious. Same way, like funny, happy-go-lucky, jacked as a brick crap house. And, he's really, really humble. And again, somebody I really enjoy being around and talking to. So for the sponsorship to help me out, he allows me to train in this gym, and, he doesn't ask for anything in return other than, put my weights back when I'm done. So great guy, great person. Over to JTT. You guys know JTT Drywall. Yes, JTT Drywall. Great and painting. They're over in PEI. They're a great group of lads. They sponsor a lot of the PEI or IPW shows. Sorry, and great person. As you guys know, the owner there, Jason.
Yeah.
Great guy. Great guy. Yeah. And no, I don't know why I said Jason again. It's because I've been talking about Jason Boa, and because I'm talking about Jason from the gym, I meant to say JATT. Drywall is actually run by Justin. Sorry, and Justin is a great human being, as you guys know.
For sure.
He's become a great friend of ours.
Justin is a huge part of me now. I love the guy to death. Again, he first for somebody that didn't really understand the business, he catches on quickly. He's really willing to ask and learn rather than just demand.
Yeah.
He's willing to like listen and be heard and like let us be heard. And rather than just saying, no, I'm the boss, it's my way or the highway sort of deal, he actually is negotiable and like really easy to be around and talk to. I actually trust him enough that like I can tell him a lot of information, and I know that he's going to be an A1 solid guy, and he's going to help me. He's not going to hurt me. So I've learned that about the wrestling businesses. That there's people that I don't tell certain things to because I don't want to hurt me, and not that I think that they would maliciously go out of their way to hurt me. It's just I don't want it to hurt me in the end. Yeah. So, but with Justin, I don't have that fear. I don't have that fear at all. I trust him a lot. And again, he took a big risk on putting the championship even near me. So again, thank you, and I'll owe you big time for that. So, and finally, just Extreme Windows and Doors and Entrance Systems. They don't like being mentioned for sponsorships and things like that, but I'm not going to mention them for a sponsorship side of thing. I'm going to mention them for more of a personal thank you. This thank you is because from Monday to Friday, Fantana actually does work a job besides wrestling. And for me to get any of the weekends off or those Thursdays off or those random Monday shows or things like that, I have to go to a boss. So in order to go to that boss, I have to have a validated reason. Every time I go to the boss, when I mention the word wrestling, it's go chase your dreams. So a big shout out to them for allowing me the time off to be able to go do these shows and to perform, to be able to try to chase my dreams. And a lot of my pictures on the table, a lot of my pictures on social media, a lot of the stuff you see when it comes to Fantana and like a lot of, I do have people design things 8x10s and things like that for me, but those pictures that are taken, they're done by Jana Lee Photography and Media. And Jana Lee Photography and Media always goes above and beyond at every show that she's on. She's capturing the moments, the memories, the real expression. She's not just there to collect a paycheck. She's there. She helps to set up. She helps with the tear down. She puts her best foot forward. She's really coachable. She's easy to be around, and really simple to be around in front of the camera. Like, she makes me really comfortable and easy to be around when I want. Like, as somebody that's not really confident in himself without his mask, when I don't have my mask on, or if I have my mask on, if I'm in front of her camera, I'm comfortable. So, like, that should tell you right there. He makes us all look like stars.
So I bet what she does for sure.
Yeah, big shout out to her for sure as well, because I don't think she gets the recognition that she truly deserves. A lot of the independent wrestlers in the Maritimes right now, their profile pictures or their cover photos or their 8x10s that they're using on the table, 99% of them, I would say, were captured by Jana Lee Photography, and that's truthful. Again, somebody that just goes above and beyond for any show she's a part of. So if you want a great photographer, and you want somebody that's, willing to do the work and actually puts their best foot forward and actually professionally trained at that, I went to school for it, contact Jana Lee Photography, because I guarantee you won't be disappointed. And that's for weddings, that's for wrestling events, that's for you name it, you'll shoot it.
Is there a Facebook page or social media where they can find Jana Lee Photography?
Yeah, just find her right on Jana Lee Photography. Just type her in, you'll see her right there.
I'll put it in the description there. I've got
For sure.
Jana and I are friends. I'll put it in the description. Don't worry.
And there's, like I said, there's those people. They really don't get enough recognition, in my opinion, as individuals that they're really make us part of the stars that we are. So those are the people that are in Fantana's support corner. Again, I can't do this alone, so I love each and every one of you guys beyond belief. To all my fans, to all my supporters, to anybody that's ever even just as much as said hello to me, thank you. Thank you so much for coming to the show. Thank you for spending your hard-earned money from your Monday to Friday job to come watch me perform. Yes, at times it is 10 minutes, and yes, there's times I'm out there for a half hour at a time. But just know that every time I'm out there, I'm giving you everything I got. And I'm going to try my absolute hardest to help you escape whatever reality you're trying to chase in life, if that's what you're trying to do.
This was an amazing interview with an amazing human being. Outside the ring, inside the ring, one of the absolute best, the Maritime Luchador, Fantana. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time.
Doodles.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and remember to catch us here every Wednesday for a new episode. Please visit us on Facebook, Instagram, and more. Links are in the description. See you next time.
Don't miss out and